Hello, welcome. I'm Emily Barbara, and I'm going to go over the books that I read in June. Yes, June. Okay, so please, I know this is a messy background. Please ignore all of these stacks of books. I just don't really have a place to put them, and I'm kind of in a hurry. So, we're just going to pay attention to this stack right here. This stack. These are the books that I read or at least attempted to read in June. And let's get into it. This is my stack of June books that I picked out. If you watched my TBR video for June, these are the books that I selected plus one library book. So let's go over it. Okay, let's get into it. So first of all, we have a classic, Pat of Silverbush by L.M. Montgomery. She also wrote Anne of Green Gables. Yeah, so I did not finish this. I'm not going to be able to finish it in the month of June. I don't even know about July. I may have to have this book go into a few months for me to get through it, because when it comes to classics, I like to annotate. And so you'll see these little sticky notes. These are characters. I just annotate character names because I'm so bad at remembering people's names, and classics always have a million characters. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. I'll put the person's name and who they are. That one's a cat. There's a cat character. They don't talk, but they named their cats. So I put that in there. So yeah, I saw my bookmark in here. I'm only not even probably a quarter of the way through this book. I just know that because I'm going on vacation in July, I'm not gonna finish this. I'll get through as much as I can by the end of June. But I know I won't finish it. I might get halfway or something, because I annotate classics, they definitely take me longer. Even though this one is meant for children, so I'm not finding it's dense reading. It's actually going by quickly. The annotations are taking me forever. But I do it on purpose because I like to do it. So that's that. So this will continue into July, maybe even August. So that's that one. Okay. All right. So let's talk about my two DNFs. I unfortunately ended up DNFing both of these books. These are the prompts used. Oh, I forgot to say what prompt made me pick Silverbush. That prompt for Pat of Silverbush was an author whose name starts with M, and Montgomery starts with an M. That's what that prompt was from the prompt jar. So for these, let's go over this one first. Look Again by Lisa Scottoline. I would say this one is a thriller or suspense. What was my prompt? A book with a blue cover. And this was entirely blue. So I definitely, this fit the prompt. I had mentioned in my video previously that I was afraid that I would DNF this because it's about a little boy that goes missing, and that is exactly what I did. I only got to page 45 and I was like, nope. Between this being a pocket-sized book, which I don't like pocket size, I'm trying really hard to not buy any more of this little size of a book. I could tell that this was going to bother me because it's about a woman who adopts a baby, and then she later finds a flyer comes in the mail talking about a baby who was basically stolen, kidnapped, and they've done a picture, an age regression of what the baby would look like today, and it looks exactly like her son. And so she is really bothered by this, but she's like, there's no way it could be the same kid. And so anyway, if that sounds interesting to you, the writing was good. I just didn't think I could handle a story about a child being kidnapped and being raised by someone else. even though the woman seems to be doing a really good job raising him, like she seems like a good mom, I just, yeah. Nope, I just figured I couldn't do it. So yeah, DNF, but I don't think I put a rating on Goodreads because I couldn't, I don't feel comfortable rating it, because if I didn't have this trigger warning about little kids being harmed and being taken, this could have been a really highly rated book. I don't know. So yeah, it was a DNF though. Okay, our second DNF. I was really sad about this one. It's Gregory Maguire, The Next Queen of Heaven. Gregory Maguire is my favorite author all time. He is my one author who is a no questions asked, I'm gonna buy his book when it comes out. I have not read him to zero. This one came out, I think, like 10 years ago, and it's been sitting on my shelf because I kind of figured this just wasn't my genre. 2009 is when this was first printed. There are other covers, so you may see this in a different cover. So this is supposed to be funny, and I did find it was funny. This is a comedy, basically, fictional comedy about Y2K era. If you're interested in Y2K era, this would be a good one. And it is funny if you're into humor, which I am, but I don't know what it was about it. I love his writing style. Everything about Gregory Maguire's writing I absolutely love. I just couldn't get into this, even though I found that I was laughing. And it's a comical story about a adult woman and her teenage daughter. And they're banter, they irritate each other, which is normal. And like the mom is very Christian. She doesn't want her teenage girl, her daughter, cussing and stuff. And this girl cusses like you wouldn't believe. But I think what happened with this could totally be a soft DNF for me. I feel like if I was in a different headspace, this could have worked for me, but there's a lot of talk about Christianity. I think it's Catholicism. I think that's what their religion is. Yes, the mom and daughter are Catholic, but like, the daughter's rebelling, and after reading some other books that were very Christian heavy, I'm just tired of reading about Catholics and stuff. I'm just not in the mood for religion and Christianity to be in my fiction. If it was a nonfiction, that might be a different story, but like, I just wanted to laugh and have a good time. And I felt there was a little too much about the religion in here. So I got bored because of that. So yeah, soft DNF. I also didn't rate this one on Goodreads because I felt like, I don't know, I almost got halfway. Page 123. I found that the story about this teenage angst and everything, I didn't find it as interesting as I wanted it to be, coupled with the whole religion thing. I was just kind of over it. So I didn't finish it, but I would say it's a soft DNF. The writing is really good. It was funny, like it's advertised to be. So yeah, soft DNF. Okay, so let's move on to the summer reads. So the next two books, I'll hold up the other one as well. These two books I opened up from my Unwrapped, from my blind TBR. So I chose two summer books, and let's get started on this one, The Summer Girl, by Jenny Blackhurst. This one, what did I rate this? I rated it a 2.5. I felt so bad. I upgraded it to a 3 stars on Goodreads. because I didn't feel like it was a 2, and you know, Goodreads won't let you do in between. So I went with a 3 on Goodreads, but I did leave a review. Okay, trigger warning. I just want to say the trigger warning before I do anything else. The R word, assault, is in here. Yeah. So just putting that out there. I don't think it was described in detail, but it's in there. Okay. This is a thriller. So like this is, you can expect there's going to be a murder, you know? But yeah, so wanted to point that out. And I do also want to point out there is spice in here. This was a spicy summer thriller. If you're into maybe some summer romance, summer spice mixed in with your summer thriller, this may be the book for you. Truly, it may be the book for you. The spice bothered me only a little bit. That wasn't the problem for me on this book. Okay, so we've got Martha's Vineyard is the setting. And here's just a brief overview. A 20-something young woman leaves her home somewhere in Great Britain. I can't remember what city. And she leaves Britain and she moves to Martha's Vineyard. She's planning on staying there just over the summer. Her mother has died and she just feels like she needs to get away after the death of her mom. She just needs new surroundings, get out of town. So she rents an Airbnb for the whole summer, 3 months. She pays in full, and her mom had left her some money. So she's able to like pay for this summer home. It's a beautiful summer home, beach access kind of situation in Martha's Vineyard. She goes missing. And the girl that goes missing, she has an older sister who flies from Britain over to Martha's Vineyard, and she's trying to find her. She's desperately trying to find her sister. Along the way, she finds out about another girl that went missing. Nobody found the killer. So now the older sister's like on high alert, trying to figure out, is my sister alive, and all this stuff. So that is the mystery. That is the thrilling piece. The story itself, the premise, everything was great. The problem was this author, Jenny Blackhurst, I'm guessing she must be from Great Britain, UK, somewhere. She doesn't know how Americans talk. So I kept getting very distracted by the language because remember, the story takes place in Martha's Vineyard, Maine, and the problem was all these characters were using the English language in a way that an American would not use, okay? So when they go to get on an elevator, they call it the lift. Let's get on the lift. We don't say that here. When a character goes to pull on a sweater because she's cold, she calls it a jumper. I didn't know what a jumper was. I had to Google that one. Apparently it's like a sweater. So, and people are taking off their jumpers and putting on their jumpers nonstop throughout this book. So it kind of had me cracking up. But those are just a couple examples. I'm telling you, it's almost every time someone talks, I'm like, that's not how Americans talk. And it just gets worse as you go through the book. So like the second half of the book, I was just constantly being distracted and pulled out of the story because of the language used. Just Americans don't say things, same word, but not the same meaning in America as it is in Britain. So I looked at reviews and a lot of other people said the same thing, same feedback. So I feel like if this book would have been set somewhere on the coastline in the UK somewhere, it would have been fine. Yeah, it would have been, maybe this would have been 4 stars if that had happened. So just wanted to point that out. All right, so my second summer blind TBR that I opened up. This one is Velva Jean Learns to Drive by Jennifer Niven, however her name is spelled. Yeah, so what did I give this one? I'm looking at my notes here. Okay, this one got 3 stars. This is a coming of age story, historical fiction, takes place in the 1930s. The writing was absolutely beautiful. This woman can write. I don't know what else she can do, but she can write. It's like almost poetic, like gorgeous writing style. The only problem is this story dragged. Okay, it was too long. I couldn't put it down. Like literally I could not put, I was like, oh my God, I love this book. But I couldn't put it down. But it was, I was bored at the same time. It's weird. I had a couple books like this, I feel like this month, where maybe other, I don't know, maybe other months, where the writing is so beautiful and you just like fall in love with the character, the main character of Velva Jean. I wanted to be friends with her. I loved her. But it also dragged because this is a 404 page book. It should have been 350 in my opinion. Because again, okay, here's the problem. There was religion in here too, but religion in a really negative way. I was able to get through this book. I gave it the 3 stars, but there's a character in here who he's Christian, but he's like starting a cult, and this cult, you know, is going after people in the town and like, you know, with their pitchforks and trying to kick people out of the town, and they almost like kill a guy, but yeah. So basically he's like a cult leader that's trying to convince people to do horrible things. And so I really hated his character. I wished he would go away throughout the entire book, but he's in there until the end. But like I said, this book is about Velva Jean, and it's all from her point of view. It's coming of age. I think the book starts when she's 9 years old, and it goes all the way through. I think she's like 18 or something when the book ends. And by the way, this is book 1 of a series. I'm not going to continue the series, but for me to continue a series, the book needs to get like a 4 or higher. Yeah, so this is not actually a summer read. I thought this book took place in the summer, but it takes place all year round from ages 9 to 18. Anyway, the book was really good. I just couldn't stand the dude, the cult leader, and the story dragged a bit, which is why I gave it a 3 rather than a 4. It was really hard for me to rate this one because I did enjoy it a lot. I just got to a point where I was like, okay, we've got to get rid of this cult leader or I'm out. But I couldn't be out because I really liked Velva Jean and I had to know what was going to happen to her. So, yep, coming of age, 1930s, the atmosphere, the town this takes place in, like the Smoky Mountains or Appalachia. Oh my goodness, gorgeous writing, gorgeous everything about it, except for the dude that I didn't like. Okay, so yeah, so 3 stars. So this is my Germany pick. Because I'm going to Germany in December. I read 1 book from my Germany TBR, The German Heiress by Annika Scott. This was really good. It is so suspenseful. It's like, to me, the genre for this should be historical fiction and suspense. This, you can just like whip right through this. If you're at all interested in German history post World War II, you can just zip right on through because the pacing is really fast. It starts 1 year post World War II. Historical fiction. Okay, so what am I trying to say here? This was really good. 4.5 stars. It's all about a fictional character. She did not exist in real life. I thought she did, but she did not. Her name is Anna. I think Anna, if I remember correctly. She, after the war, she's being accused of war crimes. So she's trying to get the heck away from the British. She lives in like a British occupied area of Germany because the war's over, you know, and the German government is trying to like redo their government because they're trying to get rid of the Nazis and all this stuff. So while the German government is trying to revamp themselves, you've got certain parts of Germany that are controlled by different countries. One's America, United States, the other one's Britain. Soviet Union has like the east half. I feel like there's a fourth one in there somewhere. But anyway, she lives in the British occupied part of Germany, which would be like the northern Germany, northwest maybe. So her family owned a factory and a series of factories, very extremely wealthy family. And as a 20-something, I think she's 20-something during the war, if I remember correctly, and she works for her father, and she basically does everything her father says. And her father is doing everything the Nazis tell him to, unfortunately. Her dad is just as bad as the Nazis, in my opinion. So she has some control because she works for her father and she's high up on the ladder in this, in the hierarchy of their corporation or whatever. So she is trying to help the workers who are like trapped and locked in these factories. She's trying, like the Nazis forced them to be locked in there. So she can't do anything about setting them free, in her opinion. Like her dad won't let her. So she's trying to get them extra food, extra supplies, extra health care, like doctors and stuff, to help these poor people trapped in these factories. So those are her memories of what she did during the war. She tried her best, in her opinion, but the British do not agree. They do not agree. Her dad is in an internment camp and waiting trial, and then she's on the run. She goes on the run. So the whole book, she's running from this British military high-ranking guy. Him and his people are desperately trying to find her. And so, yeah, this was really good. Okay, really, really, really good. There's also, oh yeah, I could go on. Sorry, I could go on for hours about this book. Like I said, it was almost a 5 stars for me, like 4.5. That's an amazing rating for a book. Yeah, just go read it. If you like historical, that's fast paced. It doesn't go into a ton of detail about like World War II, because this is post World War II, which I have read a lot of books that take place during the war. So I'm trying to find books that take place right after the war, and this one's perfect if you want to know what was Germany like during that time. Okay, so because I had 2 DNFs this month, I decided that I wanted to squeeze in another book. I'll put up a picture of what this book looks like with the cover, but this is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This was amazing. I love this book. It is now a beloved 5-star book for me. I just bought a used copy where the dust cover was damaged, so I don't have that. But yeah, I gave this 5 stars. I feel like I could totally reread this if I ever needed to for some reason. I then had my son my 10-year-old son and then my husband. I made them watch the Netflix movie with me and we all loved it. Of course, they changed a lot for the movie, and that's to be expected. So just, if you read this and then watch the movie, go into it knowing that, yeah, they changed a lot, okay? Whole bunch of plot was changed, but it still had the overall same vibe and the same characters, and I loved it. I loved it so much. Okay, so I will definitely be rewatching the movie, and my son said, I hope they make a sequel, which I don't think they will, but that would be so fun. He would be so excited. Okay, so Remarkably Bright Creatures, this is all about found family. It's a heartfelt book about an older woman who works at an aquarium with an octopus. She and the octopus become friends. There are chapters that are from the octopus point of view. He is a character in the book, just like one of the humans, but he doesn't talk. You're just hearing his thoughts that are going on in his brain. He's extremely intelligent, and yeah, so I don't want to talk too much about this. I think a lot of people have read this book already, but I'm just saying you have got to go read this book. It is so good. When I told my husband what I was reading and what it's about, he's like, you're reading a book about an octopus? You read a lot of weird stuff. And I was like, dude, it's worth it. You need to get on it because this is a good book. Okay, so I did have 2 DNFs. So I squeezed in another book. This is a library book. Okay, Invasive Species. And when I saw this at the library, I had never heard of it, but it's one of their like new releases, and I could not handle it. I had to check this out. I didn't purchase it. I'm just borrowing it. I have to bring it back in the next couple days. But this also has an octopus. So I'm like, wait a minute. I gotta read this. So yeah, this is by Ellery Adams. I had never heard of her. Apparently, normally she writes cozy mystery series. So, but this is a one-off standalone book. It's not a part of a series. I almost wish it was because I enjoyed it so much. I gave this 5 stars, y'all. 5 stars. I battled between 4 and 5. I feel like for a lot of people, this might be more of a 4, but for me, it was a 5 because it read like a fairy tale. So something about me is normally I only read fantasy. This is fantasy horror, by the way. Normally I only read fantasy if it's a retelling of a fairy tale. That's basically my favorite genre of books, aside from thrillers, is give me something nostalgic that I grew up with and then retell it, like from an adult point of view. And so this has nothing to do with Disney at all, whatsoever. It has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with The Little Mermaid. But dang it, our nemesis is Ursula. I was getting Ursula vibes, even though that's not her name and that's not who she is in this book. That's who she was to me. I kept picturing Ursula throughout this whole thing. So yeah, our villain is an octopus that has like powers, okay? She's the evil creature. So she's the horror part of this book. She does have chapters. Her name is Mrs. Smith. And every chapter is from a different, well, not from a different person, but like she has her own chapters. They're labeled Mrs. Smith. And then you've got, I absolutely loved her as the villain. She was so good in this book. Then you've got Natalie, who is a real estate agent that's trying to get into the realty business. And then her kids and her housekeeper are all in here. The housekeeper is from Iceland. Yeah, she's Icelandic, who immigrated here. This all takes place in, I forget where, but it's in the United States somewhere. But the housekeeper, Una, was my second favorite character. She immigrated from Iceland, and She knows the ocean. Her dad was a fisherman, and she knows there's something going on with this Mrs. Smith, because Mrs. Smith is a human by day and an evil octopus by night. And I am just saying, if you are looking for something that has horror, almost like a Disney fairy tale, but we are gonna put some horror in there. Oh, you've got to read this. It's so good. I love 5 stars. 5 stars. It was so good. Okay, so that's it. That's all she wrote. That included my library book. Yep. So, yeah, we're done. We did it. June was an amazing reading month. Sure, I had some 3 stars. I had a 2.5 in there, but you know what? The 4 and 5 stars and 4.5 stars outweighed that, and I had a great month. So let me know in the comments, did you have a good June reading month? Are you excited for July, what you're gonna read in July? Have you read any of the books I talked about? Are you interested in reading them? Yeah, tell me what's going on. Like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. And then watch out for my next video, which is gonna be all the audiobooks that I listened to this month. That'll be coming out soon. Okay, well, I hope you guys had a great June. I'll talk to you later.